Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to walk through some fun and interactive web code that makes social media icons hover in a magnetic way. We'll break down the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so by the end of this, you'll have a clear understanding of how each part works. First of all, we created a basic HTML structure and linked the font awesome CDN along with the CSS file. We have a div with the class container, which acts as a wrapper for our social media cards. Inside it, we have 4 card divs, each representing a different social media platform. Each card has an inline style, which sets a custom color using the --CLR variable. Inside each card div, we have an I tag with a class corresponding to the font awesome icons for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We move to Font Awesome website for these icons, copy them, and paste here. Finally, at the bottom, we have a script tag that links to an external JavaScript file, script.js. This is where we'll add functionality to the hover effect, making the icons behave magnetically. Now that we've gone over the HTML structure, let's take a look at the CSS, where we add all the styling magic. This is where we give life to those social media icons and make everything look sleek and interactive. At the start of our CSS, we have this universal selector. This applies certain styles to every element on the page. Margin, 0, and padding, 0. This removes any default margins and padding. Font family, Poppins, sans serif, box sizing border box. Next, we move to the body tag. We use display, flex, to make the body a flex container. Min height, 100 VH, so the body takes up at least the full height of the viewport, meaning the entire screen. Background, dark gray that gives the page a modern look. With justify content, center. And align items. Center. We're centering everything in the middle of the screen, both horizontally and vertically. Now, let's look at the container class. This holds our social media cards. Display, flex. Justify content, center. Align items, center. Flex wrap, wrap. The cards wrap onto a new row if there's not enough space. Gap, 100 pixel. Adds 100 pixel space between the cards for a neat layout. Moving on to the container card class, which is where we style the individual social media cards. Display, flex, to make each card a flex container as well, aligning its content easily. Position, relative, is used here because we'll likely use absolute positioning for effects later. We set the card's height and width to 200 pixel, making it a square. This will ensure all our icons stay uniform in size. Color, var-CLR. This is set individually on each card in the HTML, giving them different colors. Justify content, center. Align items, center. Border, 2 pixel solid. A dark black border around each card. Border radius, 20 pixel. Font size, 80 em, makes the icons huge, filling most of the card. Font weight, 900, to make the text bold. Cursor, pointer. Transition. Transform, 0.2 second ease out. Box shadow, 0.2 second ease out. The transition property applies smooth animations for the transform and box shadow properties, likely for hover effects. Now that we've got the HTML and CSS set up, it's time to add some interactive magic with JavaScript. First, we're selecting all the .card elements on the page using document.query selectorall.card. Next, we use forEach to loop over each card in the collection and apply an event listener to each one. This ensures that the hover effect works on every card individually. We attach an event listener to each card for the mousemove event. This event fires every time the mouse moves over the card. When the mouse moves over a card, the function inside the add event listener is triggered. The E parameter holds information about the event, such as the mouse position. We're capturing the offset X and offset Y values from the mouse event, which give us the horizontal and vertical position of the mouse relative to the top left corner of the card. We also get the width and height of the card with card.clientWidth and card.clientHeight. This helps us calculate how far the mouse is from the center of the card, which will determine how much the card moves. Trans X and Trans Y. These values represent how far the card will move along the X and Y axes. Next, we apply the transform property to the card using the translate X and translate Y functions. This moves the card based on the calculated values of trans X and trans Y, making it follow the mouse as it moves over the card. Along with the movement, we also want to add a dynamic box shadow effect. The box shadow is adjusted based on the mouse position relative to the center of the card. We set the box shadow's X and Y offsets to be the opposite of trans X and trans Y, and apply a subtle shadow color of #005, a semi-transparent black. This gives the illusion that the card is floating above the page as it moves. Lastly, we add an event listener for mouse out, which triggers when the mouse leaves the card. When the mouse leaves the card, we reset the transform and box shadow properties by setting them to empty strings. This smoothly returns the card to its original position without any lingering effects. And that's it! With just a few lines of JavaScript, we've made the cards react to the mouse with a smooth magnetic movement and a cool shadow effect. As you can see, the cards now follow the mouse as you move over them, creating that magnetic hover effect we were aiming for. Thanks for sticking with me. In this tutorial, we've gone over how to add interactivity to our social media cards using JavaScript. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more web development tutorials.